Hey guys, this is Lala Legacy, and welcome back to another episode of Cinderella Phenomenon. So, let's jump right back in. Parfait's eyes look distant as she stares dismally down at the ground. If my curse were broken, I would charge in right now and destroy him. Waltz's expression becomes so dark, it sends a shiver through me. It isn't like Waltz to look so angry. We need to come up with a plan. If I could do her voice right. Even if you weren't cursed, you would still not be able to defeat Mithros when he has other witches with him. Witches are trickier to handle. Can't be plunged through with a sword, eh? I agree with Karma. If all of us go in with swords and shields, we should be able to take the palace back. That is what we've been practicing for. Practicing? Even witches will die if you stick a sword through their heart, won't they? But getting a witch who knows you're there is difficult. Or getting to a witch who knows you're there is difficult. Excuse me, I must do something. I want to help. Chevalier wraps his fingers around my wrist and frowns. Princess. This whole time, I have been living at the margin. I was spared the fate of the royal family by sheer coincidence because I was cursed. I cannot just sit here and do nothing while the kingdom falls to a witch. It fell to witches before, and there were dire consequences. I cannot continue to be passive. I will not let myself be like my mother. Princess, I am Melody Riella Breton, the crown princess of Angiel, and I will not stand by and watch when the kingdom is in turmoil. The room goes quiet at my statements. Chevalier's fingers loosen on my hand. I can see a ghost of a smile on his face, though it underlies the sorrow. Spoken like a true princess. Whether or not you want to help, Princess, you really can't. You won't be able to use magic until your 18th birthday. That's when you become the bearer. I cannot let that stop me. I will find a way. The conversations in the room continue for a long while. At some point, it is said that volunteers are needed at the hospitals and clinics for the injured soldiers. Chevalier immediately volunteers. Only afterward does he look at me with regret. Princess, I'm sorry. For what? For putting my job before you, and after all I just said. He told me he was going to try his best to change. Briam called him selfless for putting his work before her, but you would be a fool not to. My life is not in any danger, and there are people who need you more than I do. Do your best, Chevalier. Princess Melody, I promise you, I will do whatever I can to help you as well. As the meeting disbands, I am left standing there in quiet. The last to leave is Waltz, who promises me that he will make things right. I am going to trust everyone, but I am also not going to stand idle. I will make things right somehow. As is my responsibility as crown princess. Yas, girl! Chapter 9, The Witch Puppet. Another long night. The two of us are on our way back to the margin after visiting a clinic in town. We were there for hours, and it is a relief to be out in the open now, where I can feel the wind on my skin. Are you okay, Princess? I know that what you saw must have been difficult. I'm sorry I couldn't shield you from the majority of it. I volunteered to help Chevalier at the clinic part-time, but it is worse than I had expected. Many of the soldiers have severe wounds. I had thought that most of the injuries sustained by the knights during the upheaval were only minor, but I was wrong. Their injuries are much worse. Princess, He reaches out and laces his fingers through mine, then gives me a soft smile as he squeezes my hand. Are you okay? I am fine. It has only been 1 day since the uprising at the palace. I had thought that there would be less blood. I was wrong. Is this what things were like after the Great War? I wasn't a fully certified doctor after the Great War, but I was an assistant. It was far worse than this, Princess. We cannot have a repeat of the Great War. I do not know why Mithros would kill Sir Alcaster and take the throne, without claiming the crown, but the witches already have a bad name, and he is making it worse. I cannot help but remember the wide smiles Mithros gave me when I was still living in the palace. Every time I felt his eyes on me, I felt there was something strange about him. There was always a cloudiness to his eyes, something unreadable. He was excellent at his job, but always an enigma outside of it. A sudden breeze chills my skin. Let's go back before you freeze out here. The two of us begin our walk back to the margin. Thoughts of the palace, the king, and my stepfamily cloud my mind. Since I have been staying at the margin, I have not seen Rod once. I was never sure if it was because he was ignoring me or if it was because he only wanted to speak to Parfait. Regardless, I hope Rod and his family are okay. I would never wish this treatment upon anyone, not even to ones I hated. As we walk, I glance up at Chevalier, whose head is tilted skyward. I catch the glimmer of lights in his eyes and smile. Even for just a moment, I can forget about everything when I am beside him. He has a way of taking the weight off my shoulders. But as the crown princess, I cannot let others carry my burden for me. I must find ways to protect the others, even if it means putting myself in danger or harming someone in order to protect someone else. What do you think is the easiest and fastest way to kill someone? Chevalier's body goes rigid beside me. He stops to stare at me wide-eyed. I am asking just in case I am ever in danger. I have never fought anyone before. I could retaliate, but I do not know how to actually harm anyone. To kill someone is to end a life. It is stealing away a life that others might love. You bear the burden of that death for the rest of your life. I pull myself away from him. But Mithros is not an innocent man. Would you rather he kill the royal family instead? No, it's not that, Princess. I know he must be stopped at any cost. It's just, I would never want you to have to kill someone. How would you know what it is like to kill someone? You have only ever helped people, not hurt them. You saw the soldiers in the clinic today. You saw how close some of them were to death. Did you see the hollow look in their eyes? I have seen that look many times. It is the look of a man who clings desperately to life. Every life is precious. And a life is still a life, whether it's vile or not. It is still a responsibility you have to bear. I know how valuable and fragile lives are because I have helped so many people. We stand quiet for a few moments, facing each other. I know I am at odds with Chevalier. He speaks the truth, but I also know that I speak my own version of the truth too. The world is a place where only the strong survive. People are kind, but they will take advantage of those who are too caring. Bria told me that Chevalier was so selfless that he became selfish. She told me that he never had anything because he gave everything to others. His kindness has hurt others, and I fear that it has a likely chance to hurt him as well. What if his reluctance to hurt anyone causes him to be the one that's injured? Chevalier suddenly breaks the silence. Most people think that the easiest way to kill a person is to stab them through the heart. Those people would be wrong. He puts his hand over his heart and stares dismally down at the ground. He removes his hand briefly, but only to reach for mine. Aww. He takes my hand and settles it on his chest, slightly to the left. I can hear the beating of his heart beneath my palm. It is soft and gentle. What can you feel besides the beating of my heart? The ribs? Yes. In order to stab the heart, you have to get through the ribs. That's why most of the soldiers in there who got stabbed in the chest are still alive. If you want to quickly kill someone, you have to stab somewhere where it would be difficult to stem the blood from a wound. Do you have any idea where that might be? That would be the neck. The skin on the neck is thinner, and you have lots of blood flow underneath the skin going right to your head. It would most likely be easier to slice or pierce something more vulnerable in the neck without running into as much resistance. Chevalier raises an eyebrow. Did you happen to pick that up around the clinic? No, I simply guessed. Then you have a bright mind, Princess. Chevalier moves my hand to the side of his neck. My fingers curl slightly when I feel his heartbeat reverberate beneath my fingers. This part is where you can find the jugular vein and the carotid, I don't know what that is. I don't remember learning that in school. Carotid artery. Oh wait, yes I do, never mind. I'm dumb. He runs my fingers down the length of it, and I shudder. Ugh. Yeah, no, it's making me shudder just thinking about it. A mischievous smile brightens his face. Not only does cutting at the neck stop blood from going to the head, but it also makes it spurt. Ugh. If both the vein and the artery are cut, it only takes a minute to bleed to death. Thus, one of the best ways to kill a person would be through the neck. Why are you telling me this all now? I was just enlightening a new pupil with an anatomy lesson. You asked me a question and I responded as a teacher. Ugh. Chevalier's fingers loosen on my hand, and I grasp his hand tighter in response. Princess, I don't want you to have to bear the burden of a murder. I promise that I'll protect you, so you don't have to defend yourself with violence. I can't use a sword or magic, and I don't know how to fight, but I will always be there to protect you. I may not have an abundance of muscles beneath these sleeves, but I am a doctor. No one knows the body better than I. So, though it may not be heroic, I know how to hurt a person. His sincere expression, though pained, tells me that he is telling the truth. I do not want Chevalier to hurt a person either. It would destroy everything that he has worked towards as a doctor. He has seen so much suffering, and yet always seems untouched by it. I will do anything I can to protect his positivity. I felt really stupid during that scene. I just don't think I ever had to say that word aloud before. So, the margin was quiet when we returned. Everyone had already disappeared into their rooms, and so I went straight to mine. I also forced Chevalier to go back to his. He has been on his feet all day, and he needs the rest. I plopped down onto my bed as soon as we returned home. I glanced briefly to the side where Chevalier's bouquet is in the vase Parfait had given to me. Who is it? Parfait? Come in. You've returned. Parfait looks paler than normal. I realized with a start that Chevalier did not tend to her at all today. Don't look at me like that. I'm fine. How are the soldiers at the clinic? Not good. Many of them have been gravely wounded. Some said they remembered magic. Others say they don't remember anything at all. A shadow falls over Parfait's expression as she sighs. So, the circumstances are dire than we thought. It is a good thing Chevalier is there to lend a helping hand. Did you all manage to come up with a plan? It's proving more difficult than we anticipated. Delora and I are willing to put ourselves in danger. Waltzes too, because he can use magic to a certain extent. The knights in Karma have their blades. But, Chevalier, I do not want to involve him in this. Because you're worried about him. Of course I am. You've grown, Princess. You remind me of a younger Hildir. Back then, Hildir was both calm and resilient. The moment she could be smiling, or one moment, she could be smiling ear to ear. The next, she could be strict and unmovable as the coldest ice. The two of us were like sisters. We did so much together. We learned together, explored the kingdom together. I can say with all certainty that we were the best of friends. And then the fairy tales happened. When Hildir killed the first human, she was corrupted. Her darkness swallowed her whole. I do not remember a time before Mother was corrupted, so I cannot imagine the woman Parfait describes. I know the old Hildir would have wanted to show you the beauty in things, Princess. She would not want you to suffer. I'm sorry you became so embroiled in things. It was inevitable. If Delora hadn't cursed me, then I would still be in the palace, and I would be just as helpless as everyone else. So while I am out here, I have the responsibility to help everyone. I touched the incomplete glass slipper at my neck. I still haven't even done 3 good deeds. Don't look so sad. You will complete your 3 good deeds and things will go back to normal. And of course, you'll still have friends here when you return. And come your 18th birthday, Delora and I will teach you about magic. Waltz is eager to help too. But for now, our top priority is a plan. Rest easy, Princess. Things will work out. It is hard to believe that this problem could be so easily solved, but I will try to believe. When Parfait leaves, I am left to my own thoughts. I hope everyone at the palace is okay, and that they can hold on until we can come up with our plan. But I feel like we are already running out of time. I mean, probably. Days go by, and I find myself assisting Chevalier at times. Other times, I remain at the margin to help conceptualize a plan. None of our plans have actually shown any promise yet, but with all of our minds put together, we should be able to come up with something. A week later, I find myself standing outside the clinic door waiting for Chevalier. I'm sorry to have kept you waiting, Princess. You can drop the title, you know. Melody, but you are a princess in my eyes. Yes, but I do not need you to address me by title. Just my name is fine. Chevalier reaches out to take my hand, then immediately pulls his hand back, eyes wide. I forgot it. Forgot what? The medicine that I needed for Parfait. Give me a moment for, Melody. Chevalier plants a quick kiss on my forehead before running inside. Ah, I stare at the stars as I wait. I turn to see no one walking around the plaza. I inch closer toward the door of the clinic as I take another look around. Boo. Oh no! I suddenly see the silhouette of a man. He takes a few more steps towards me, and then stops in front of me. I recognize him immediately. His appearance left quite an impression on me the last time. Out at night by yourself. Certainly you know that wolves prowl these streets at night. What do you want? I take a step back and press myself to the door. I reach for the door handle, but the man reaches out to grab my wrist, holding it to the door. I'd say my answer to that question is complicated, Princess. By the expression on your face, I must have hit the nail right on the head, eh? You are the princess. How do you know who I am? That is part of the mystery, isn't it? I attempt to wrestle my wrist out of his fingers. Come with me quietly, and you won't get hurt. Scream for help. I refuse to go anywhere with him. I open my mouth to scream, but before I can even breathe, the man's hand flies to my mouth. You're a disobedient one, aren't you? I struggle against his grasp. It does not take long for the grin to fall from his face. It is replaced with a look that lacks any amusement. I enjoy seeing you struggle, but I'm afraid we've been out here for too long. But that is all the time that I have for this episode, guys. So, if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already, subscribe. By subscribing, you're becoming part of a legacy. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!